Hey boardies, welcome to AmassGames. My name is Simon and today we're looking at the game Ghost Stories. This is a cooperative game taking about 60 minutes for ages 14 plus 1 to 4 players. It's produced by Repos Production, it's by Antoine Bauza and artwork is by Piero. Now, there is an expansion which is in the box, but I have taken it out for the weighing. I'll quickly show you through this Repos Production. Time's Up I've played as well. We've got Califico, which I haven't heard of. I've played Concept, where once I had the word animal and film, and I correctly did Rhino for, correctly did Jumanji. I was thinking of Rhino and got them to get it. I've played Cash and Guns, and also in here I've played Seven Wonders. I've played Leaders and Cities. I've also played in here, I've got the Wonders Pack, which actually I haven't done a video for yet. Babel I haven't played yet, or Babel. I've played Jewel, I've got Pantheon, but I haven't played it yet. I'm going to Pantheon in exactly 1 month. I've got Ghost Stories here, I've got White Moon, which I'll show in a second, Masquerade, and the expansion, and When I Dream, which is also good. So here is this expansion, which I won't be talking about, still sealed up. Various cards, let's set up the game. Also there's a coming soon here, another app, which seems to be not working anymore. So it's regarded as being notoriously hard, and having a poor rule book. I've had a fantastic help in being taught actually how to play this. And whilst I'm doing this 4K video, please ensure you hit the notification bell and the subscribe button if you haven't already. As well as that, you can support the channel via Patreon. You can go across to Instagram via the description where there is Linktree as well. And you can also see over 2,300 posts. There's a Facebook group which you can support and join. So you're going to have these various tiles. These tiles are going to get shuffled up. I'll give you more about an explanation about the game in a second. But I'll just start doing this. So at random, you're going to chuck out these tiles. And yes, you're working together to defeat an evil lord. Now, when I define and explain to you exactly what's written on the back of the box, you'll definitely see a relation to something else. So let me just do the start. So these ones, and let me tell you what it states. So I'm reading out this information up here. So Wu Feng, Lord of the Nine Hells. So that might already give you a bit of a clue. Locate the funerary urn containing his ashes. His hordes are already marching on a small middle empire village where it is hidden. You are the final bastion of the world of the living. Now this game actually has been recreated as Last Bastion, which I haven't played yet. Unite your forces, protect the village and prevent the return of the damned with 1,000 faces. So, Wu Feng, Lord of the Nine Hells, well that could be Sauron or the Witch King of Angmar. Obviously the urn representing the ring, small middle empire or Middle Earth, and of course we are representing, let's call it the Hobbits. So in this case we are monks, we're Taoist monks, and what we're trying to do is prevent 3 of these locations becoming haunted, and then we will lose the game. We did lose the game when we played it most recently. You have various haunted figures which will come out as and when required. And yeah, please enter the like button, add your comments and descriptions. I know lots of other videos have mentioned, oh, you missed this out, missed that out. I will add more stuff to the description as necessary. You can have various figures, you can choose who you wish to play. These boards are double-sided as well. Most recently played as the blue character, and we happen to play as the yellow character. So the rest, if you're playing as a 2, you're chucking these back in the box. There are various places that you can go to and you can activate and get things. For example, the Buddha character, which again is randomized, but ideally you want it in the center. I'll go on to reasons why. You have various dice, basically fighting dice, to try and match the color of the kind of place that you're fighting. You have a number of cards here. So playing as a 2, you want to have 55 cards. You are going to remove 10 at random. So keep the card aside for a second. These are going to be that baddie that we talked about. A classic word is baddie. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They go back in the bag. So chuck them in there. So yeah, this is going to go in the playlist. I'll set up play and review. Also in the co-op playlist, amongst others. Randomly deal one of the baddies. So they are gone in there as well. And then you are going to take 10 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They go underneath this guy. As in this case, a lord. So bloke. 1, 2. And then the rest of these cards are going to be, of course, shuffled and placed on top. So it's a game whereby you are moving and able to move if you wish to. And there isn't really a player aid. You can only really go off the back of the board box rulebook, whereby we have a yin phase, which is the ghost, and then the yang phase, which is them. So firstly, they're going to do actions, the ghosts, but in the first round, there's nothing for them to do. Then you're going to see if you've lost because the board is overrun or something happens or you're going to lose certain things. And then we're going to do the yang phase, which again is the Taoist phase, which is us. Aside from that, there are some other things. We're starting on, I guess, introductory mode. So we'll start with 4 chi. Chi can be used for various things, but there is a normal mode. I think people don't even win it on normal mode. You're going to have 4 each. But on normal mode, you're having 3 each. There's also a harder mode, there's a hell mode, and various other things too. So you're also going to have other tokens to be placed out as well. So in this instance, you're chucking out 2 of these tokens. And the way it works is we are active players. We also have these locations, which are called neutral boards, because we're not playing with those characters. But we can use their abilities. We're just having to chuck in 1 of these tokens to actually activate that location. This symbol here, I know it's sideways, represents the ghost, also represented by this image here. So what we're going to be doing is our first turn is revealing a card, and it turns out to be yellow. So you can choose where you want to place it. Let's say you place it here. When you go there, you're going to have to do a certain thing. So in this case, you need to have a yellow. So what we're going to do is, let's say it's me, you can move diagonally, move 1, and now I'm going to roll dice. You roll 3, so you roll 3 dice. I happen to have a yellow. Be careful, there's a yellow and an orange. So I happen to do enough. White is wild. I've done enough there, so I have destroyed this ghost from coming back, this coffin breakers. And sometimes there's some extra stuff, so it might generate an extra ghost. Sometimes it might be a reward, but it could be like a negative thing, basically, that could be kicking in. So there's various things to be aware of. There is a separate player aid, but it is just the one, and it's telling you about the kind of stuff that's going on here. So for example, this one, which we see over here, the power of the board where the ghost card has been placed cannot be used. Place an inactive power token on the power stone of the board. So as long as this ghost is not defeated, the power of the board where the ghost card has been placed cannot be used. So obviously, we can no longer use this space. So what this means is normally you get an extra die. That's what that represents. Sorry, this one represents getting an extra die. There are various things that these various boards do. In this instance, what this one does is the player receives 1 Tau token of their choice, if available. So what are Tau tokens? Well, I have a black one because we haven't seen the black die yet. But you also have other tokens representative. So if I needed to get the defeat of this with 1 yellow token, the way that works is you are going to need a yellow token. So you can start collecting tokens and you can start contributing towards it. So now let's say I finish my turn. It's yellow's turn. We're going to our favourite spot, grabbing a Buddha. You can't use a Buddha on a turn you do it, but before you move, you draw obviously a card. I've got another yellow card. You can choose where to put it next to us because it saves me having to move. Moving is optional. Placed out here, it's going to need 4 yellow. Okay, and now I can move. So I move first, grab the Buddha, gone over here, and that kind of stuff happens. In this case, the player or the neutral player must roll the cursed die. So in this case we do. We have to roll the cursed die and see what the result corresponds to. When the ghost is destroyed by a Buddha or the sorcerer, you don't have to roll it. So we'll talk about the Buddha in a second. But that's happened, and actually no, that doesn't matter. That's the effect at the end. So we'll talk about it then. So now it's back to me being blue, and now I can fight it. So I need to do 4 dice. I've only got 3 here. So what instead I can do is actually generate a token. I want it to be yellow, so placing that, you'll see it probably won't happen. Roll 2 whites, very close. I did 3 of the 4 things, but it's not enough, so it doesn't go away. You're trying to get through this deck because you're trying to reach that baddie. I'll just show you how it happens next. So now it's going to be a yellow turn, so they're going to draw a card. They draw a green, so you can place it wherever you want, but obviously closer the better. And then what's going to occur is you can place out the Buddha. That's at the end of your turn, but just as an example, let's put on blue, because I haven't had a blue card come up yet. And now we can fight over here. It's going to need 2 green, so we've got 3 dice here. We can use the active ability, and that extra ability comes because you can collect extra tokens, so it allows you to trigger the ability of that neutral player. So as I said, you get to roll an extra die, and you don't have to worry about curse tokens. So you're going to roll 3 dice, and as you can see, failed again. So the aim of the game is to not get more of these tokens out. Sometimes you're bringing out haunters, so I'll show you what they look like. These guys here, they're going to come onto the board, let's say like this, and you can see it's a black card, a black ghost. And when it's your turn finished, then you're moving back onto the in phase. They're moving 1 space. When they move an additional space, they cause one of these to flip. So these are bad because if you happen to flip, let's say this one, you can no longer use the ability. And now you've lost 1 of your 9 village spaces. Lose 3, and obviously you're approaching the game end because the 4th one causes the game to end. And of course you've lost Additionally to that, what you can be doing is, on your turn, it has to be on your turn, chuck in a yin-yang token to flip one back. So you want to be aware of that. So position yourself well, get to the right locations, not always fighting, because sometimes you don't necessarily mind if another one triggers out. You also have to be aware that some of these cards do actually create more ghosts to actually come out. So when it says spawn, when you flip over a ghost, turn out a ghost, you must draw another card as well. So that's basically how the game progresses. It's very similar to the likes of Forbidden Desert. I give this game close to actually what the BGG rating is, like a 7 out of 10. And as you know, my board game ratings are relatively harsh compared to some, averaging about 6.4. So yeah, above average. It's very nice, very colourful to look at. Cards are quite thin though. And of course, these dice are very bland and generic. But there's quite a lot to discover in here, obviously randomization. It feels slightly long in a bad way, but I guess there's peril. But yeah, there's lots of just negative stuff, including obviously when you defeat them off. And for that level of difficulty on, not even a normal mode, that is a bit of a worry. Yeah, I look forward to seeing what the expansion's like. I've heard it's good. I've heard it's a good solo experience as well. Yeah, lots of different things where you might want to go, different things you can trigger. Yeah, familiarise yourself again with these rules. All these various locations are very interesting to look into as well. Very nice idea, and very different to what Antoine Bauza has done before. Obviously, he's done Seven Wonders, Hanabi. This is quite different. Neom as well, which is another drafting game. So he's big into drafting. This doesn't have it. Interesting. It's quite interesting. But enough of me saying the word interesting enough. Hanabi is also cooperative like this. I do prefer Hanabi. I think it's fantastic. This is quite a bit different. Very original, I would say, to a degree. And enjoyable. So hopefully you found this video of interest. Back to the table.